the President's State of the Union today. Timothy, we can't hear you.
Yeah, okay, you hear me now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the president today, he fulfilled his constitutional obligation of honor Article 58 of the Constitution to present the state of the nation, explaining the expenditures and income of the country and the state of the country economic position, and also his legislative agenda for the ensuing year and bills that was passed and projects and his accomplishments and so forth and challenges that he received. But to be honest with you, yes, is the president. He mentioned that his sixth and his was his last so now for the term. But you agree that it was more like a campaign speech, campaign. The president was in campaign mood, uh, because you saw it from the beginning of the building up to the state of the nation. They had people dressed up in regalias of the CDC, all in and coming with battle cry and so forth. Come in, and I've witnessed campaigns. I witnessed State of the Nation address from Samuel Doe time. So I know I witnessed Samuel Doe. I witnessed Charles Taylor. I know I witnessed Ellen. I witnessed. I've been able to live to see all these giving the State of the Nation addresses. And but today the president was in a campaign mode. You saw the cabinet was on his right, and they were there cheering. At each time he spoke, they would cheer, and the other members there too were cheering. And at the end, you saw at the end of the speech. In fact, when it came to the place of to recognize America, for some reason, the president decided to give the special recognition to the U.S. government and try to give a special attention. Perhaps the American ambassador was present and other diplomats were there and so forth. But it was more and more like a campaign speech, and he was trying to make a compelling case to the Liberian people that he should be given another 6 years mandate. At the end, he said, "You will see me in your villages. You will see me in your neighborhoods and so forth. I'll come to your counties, asking for another more 6 years and so forth." But with all that, we will be expecting the opposition to respond. We expect the ANC, the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, and other parties that's in opposition camp to respond to the President's State of the Union. And with the President spoke for 3 hours, 23 minutes. I mean, at one point we saw he was tired, so forth, but he had to make that case because it's a last speech given on his term, and he wanted to make sure that he had attention of the country, because when you're giving this speech, one of the important speech the president gives every year is this particular SONA. The country is with the entire majority of the country, they're watching the speech, the international community watching the speech, so he had a bullet puppet, he can make his case. And if he's a supporter, you will say that he did a good job. If he's not a supporter, you will criticize that he didn't he didn't hit a home run. But so far, that's how I look at it.
Thank you, Tamalin. You heard Tamalin's opinion about the State of the Nation today. I want to then go on. I actually want to welcome Honorable Yekeh Kolubah to the show. He was actually there. It would be great to get his opinion. But Honorable Yekeh, let me go to Dr. Peabody before we then come on to you. Well, we'll go on to Kep and then come on to you. Okay, is that okay with you, Honorable Yekeh? Okay, good.
Yes, it's okay with me. It's okay with me.
Thank you. Dr. Peabody.
Good to see everybody, and it's good to be back on the show. I actually want to say that I listened into the speech, but at some point I really did not understand what was being said, to be honest. But one thing I said last week that the president talked about, he talked about the press freedom, the act that was created. And I think to some level, I agree with that part that he did talk. The press have a lot of opportunity and freedom in Liberia, but the speech was just too long. And I really could not continue. It was just too long. I really did not understand a lot of stuff that was being said. I think there was a lot of struggle there by the president in really getting the information across. It was really a lot of struggle. So honestly, I had to just not listening, and maybe I would like to read the script more, and maybe I'll have a better. But I struggled really to understand, and it was too long. And then the president himself struggled in the presentation. I think whoever wrote the speech, I said it again last year. I said, please don't make the speech long. It did it very long, and let me say, the presentation was just not was difficult for me. That's what I think.
Thank you, Peabody, for your. Peabody says the presentation was too long for him. Tony and George have mentioned that the president kind of was presenting a campaign speech as opposed to giving us a significant updates of what did he accomplish during the past couple of years. So it was more he provided evidence such as the people, the way how he had some people dressing and how they came in. So at this point, I want to welcome Honorable Fagon to the show. But at this time, we're going to go to Kev Hassan, who's going to again give us his thoughts about the speech. Then we're going to go to Yekeh Kolubah, and then we'll also ask Mr. Fagon to give us his thoughts and opinion about the speech. So, Kev, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Richardson. This speech had everything in there you're looking for, from healthcare to education, to the economy. And, President even quotes, when we get a speech, we'll get actual quotation from the IMF on how the economy is, revamping, how how the economy is stable. We are not at a high risk anymore, moderate. So we are saying that the direction of the country is moving forward, it getting better. The the plane is steady. It's up in an attitude that not there yet, but it's not down. It's steady, and we going there, and that's why we need. Uh, it's important to re-elect this president because of stability. Because of stability in our economy, because of stability in security, because of stability. And imagine a civil servant getting pay raise. Those folks that went down are going up now. They're going up. So you see, nobody can criticize our people for getting pay raise. So you see, we are heading somewhere. We are going somewhere. One of the thing with an opposition who oppose this president will look for something, and they will turn it around. So folks out there, just open your ears. You will see people will turn the good thing into bad thing. That's what some politicians do. So that's what they're there for, to swing it anyway. But just listen to the speech and understand that when the president talk about the 100-bedroom hospital is there, you can drive there, you can see it. When the president talk about stability in our economy, imagine from 30%, and nobody will dispute that. When the
Okay, sorry, Kev, just 1 minute. I just want to be mindful of the time so that all of us can have the opportunity to speak. So
thank you.
Everybody have at least 2 to 3 minutes, okay?
You're right. The president talk about everybody remember when the president came to power, a lot of people thought the economy was stable from the past government. Like say a rude awakening when the president met what the government meant. And some of us know that. You saw how things were all over the place. But through the vision of this president, it becomes stable from where this country, when the president met this country, to now.
Okay,
So
thank
with
you.
time, we'll go
Yes,
into
thank you. I really appreciate you going to it. I want to hear more about your stability. Honorable Kolubah, you were there.
I'm here.
I'm looking forward to you telling us, your views. How did it go for you? I believe James has a tape. I want James to play the tape before you speak, if that's okay. James, can you put that tape?
I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna play. Thank you. 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 Thank you.
I'm sorry, Honorable Kaluba. Can you tell us what's going on over there in that clip, and then you can
I didn't see what was going on. My internet went bad.
Okay, it was the one where you are doing you are saying muya muya, and I couldn't really hear what you were saying, but you had
Okay,
gotten that starting
let me
at a
say
time.
Happy New Year. Let me say Happy New
Happy.
Year to all.
Oh, in Liberia,
And
you can't look for you. I know where play you at one. In Liberia, we call you, we'll find you. Me and you see me call you, we'll find you.
I
We'll
was
find
walking
you.
about.
I see. Okay, we'll find you anyways.
What wrong? That other people that you verse?
Yeah, what a problem. I'm looking at my son on the other side there, so that's why.
Let me say Happy New Year to all of you people, and say Happy New Year to Honorable Kev. Where's Kev Hassan? Honorable Kev Hassan. Let me say Happy New Year to you. So, the President's State of Nation address. Some of us went there purposely because today was the last day for the President's State of Nation address, and we needed to sit quietly to listen to him, so we can be able to listen to all what he will say. And that was when we got into John chamber, I raised up my hand, called for information. The speaker denied me, and I still made my presence felt. I told him, Mr. Speaker, this hall is not for cheering squad. Maybe he didn't understand from where I was speaking, but at the end of the day, he understood from where I was speaking. The president came purposely to convince us to run campaign. And at that point, I was also there running campaign for the opposition. Now that's why as soon as the CDC people come on, they start cheering, where you strong, where you strong. I wake up, I chant my battle cry for the ANC and the Unity Party. Because we did not go there for that. We had dignitary that went to that program to listen. But instead of the president telling what you want to tell, instead of going to 2017, coming back, you have governed the country for 5 years. You don't know say what someone have been on pay. It is today that you want to get in your campaign mood to say we want to increase the people's salary. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And it's sad to have opposition in the midst of seditions. Look, if I'm not being for the Liberian people, I'm going to join CDC tomorrow. I got very frustrated today. I couldn't get anybody to join me to campaign for the opposition. We have opposition people in the place. Nobody could join me today. I feel very bad. If I'm not paying for the Liberian poor, I will go join CDC. Tomorrow morning, I will join CDC. Because, I mean, if I don't have a president that will come to address the nation, that's supposed to tell the Liberian poor what you want to tell them, and talking about how he and myself from Born Mines, you know, bringing his head out low again, he and myself from Born Mines, these are all kind of thing. You know, I mean, I feel very discouraged today. I knew today they have been doing it for 5 years. 5 years. Anytime the president go address the nation, they will carry cheering squad. And when they purposely to become cheering squad for the opposition, and I was cheering squad for the opposition today. I had no regret for what I did. And I owe no apology to anybody for what I did. If I had an opportunity again, I would do it again.
So, Honorable Kolubah, we saw you saying "muya muya." What were you saying though? What were you saying when you were cheering?
I was saying muya, 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 Unity Party muya, ANC muya, Unity Party muya, ANC muya.
Okay, good. So you heard Honorable Kolubah, who said that he was there cheering for the opposition. He has concerns about the president saying that civil servants are getting paid, and he knows that these people, the civil servants, have not been paid regularly. So he was surprised to hear the president bringing that up in his speech. That's one of the highlights that he just told us. And he's also acknowledged that, similar to Tomlin George, that the president was running a campaign, and they tend to bring his own cheerleaders when he's coming. Honorable Fagon, can you please tell us your thoughts? I know you probably watch it. Any thoughts there?
Okay, I'll try to adjust my internet.
Oh, I was hearing noise.
Tomorrow nothing looking yellow with fungo. I think drinking looking yellow with fun.
Right, that ginger ale, Shagon.
Ginger ale can fun this time around.
I think they'll be talking. Looking at the bad drink.
He blended the watermelon with lamb.
Yeah, get you for.
Anyway, good afternoon to all. You know, when Rodney said the emperor is naked, it's now really hitting me hard because he's my political leader and the head of my party. Liberia, you can Google it and check it, is about the size of the state of Tennessee. There are 50 states in the United States of America. And when the president gets ready to deliver his, what they call it, not State of the Nation address, but normally it's about an hour to an hour and a half maximum. For 50 states and the achievements of a great nation like the United States, with the population 10 times more, if you like 60 to 90 times more than that of the Republic of Liberia. My president spent 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours to deliver a State of a Nation address to a country the size of Tennessee. Secondly, my president, whoever wrote that speech, and I'm suspecting Samuel Tweed did, he loves to talk plenty. And so he wrote repetitive things instead of what we call in politics the economization of wordings. What the president delivered today, I could take the same thing, deliver the same substance, and make it 1 hour, 15 minutes. I challenge anybody. And at the end of the day, the president indicted himself over and over. I mean, legally indicted himself. today by acknowledging that 15,000 civil servants make below the minimum wage is an indictment. That's abuse of power, and that's what? Labor abuse. I'm not here for somebody to tell me anything. The law say, not you or your policy. The law say you should pay me this, and you underpay me, and you admit to it, and then you tell the people you will put 6 million aside, hoping that they will put it there, instead of saying, by my directive, I have ordered the Minister of Finance to correct this with immediate effect. No, he still went to legislature to make appropriations for the reduction and the adjustments you made. Did you seek the approval to cut the people money? Now, why do you want the approval to put the people money back? And you did not give any specific time. Let me just not waste your time and just run you through a couple of things. You said quickly that the audit done by the GSC for 2021 will be given to the legislature in 30 days. Mr. President, do you recognize we're in 2023? We're 2021, and you touted that the regular budget year from January to December started in 2022. So as of January, why did you not report this GSC audit? I just will give you one more because I got a long list here.
Yeah, yes. We're going to go into it, Mr.
So no, I got a long list. I said I'll give you my last one. I don't want to take more than 2 minutes.
Thank you.
I don't want to take more than 2 minutes.
Oh, I said thank you.
Last night you said 15,000 employees had a raise, while 7,000 had an adjustment downward. Okay, 15,000 had a raise. 7,000 had an adjustment downwards. That's 22,000. You went on to tout 70,000 government employees. What happened to the other 22,000 minus 70,000? Don't worry, I'll wait. I think it should be 48. What happened to them? We can go on and on. I think the speech was disastrous for him and his re-election bid. I think it indicted him legally. I think Twitter did not serve him well by making him give a long speech wherein nobody will remember the substantive issues to be able to digest it, but rather they would nitpick the issues that matters most to them. I respectfully, partially submit on that note.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister Falcon. I'd like to, again, share my views, and then we're going to ask for reactions to some of what we are hearing about the speech from the panelists. I would probably come back tomorrow. I think tomorrow will also be a great day for us to, again, explore the speech, because we may have it in written form, because some of, I don't know if anybody has it in written form, but it was kind of long and challenging, especially when some of us have to work on this side of the world, and then on the other side of the world, people had to take time to filter what the president was telling them. So I think it was long. And in today's world, they ask you to give a speech, at least, attention span nowadays is 30 minutes. It would have been, an hour, 15 minutes. I'm agreeing that it should have been that amount of time. I think the economization of words, as Minister Falcon said, would have been helpful. I was surprised that the president used a word. He said the macroeconomy of fundamentalism. And I saw people clapping as if they were happy that the president was able to pronounce macroeconomy fundamentalism. Okay. And so I was wondering, those are ways that an example of economization of words.
Dr. Richardson.
Yes.
People were not clapping because he knew what he was saying. He knew the definition. They were cheering because he was able to pronounce it and not make them shame.
Yes, that's what I sense. Honestly, I sense that, because I was like, wow, why everybody clapping? Because the man said macroeconomy or the fundamentalism of macroeconomy or something like that. He said, and then everybody was just cracking and saying, "Oh, you're strong, you're strong." I was like, I thought it was interesting. So hopefully, again, I want to go back to ask for your reactions. Kev, we'll start with you from what you just heard from the panelists. What are you thinking?
Well, before I go to my word, let me go towards. I got a message from the CEO. He praised his speech. He says the speech is good. The speech hit all sides, and the speech will resonate among the people. That was the CEO of Spoon TV World. So it's a good speech, and the speech hit all sides, and it will resonate among the people. But let me go to my listening to everybody. Let me go to first. Let me go to my brother and Fagon. I know him well. If Fagon can only pick about the pay and say, oh, okay, you don't pay them before, now you want to pay them, and the speech is too long, tells me it's a good speech. Tells me it's a good speech. If that's the only thing Fagon can take out of the whole speech that he listened to, because I know he sat there and he listened to
I
it.
think you heard me say because of time.
No,
I have a very
let me
long
finish
list.
now. Mama, let me finish now.
As the moderator, Kev, I'm going to say he had a long list of things, and he only
I have a
was
long
able to
list of things, but because of time,
But Mama,
So,
let me
we
finish.
didn't do this to this platform,
Mama, let me finish now. Let me finish. I know Fagon. Fagon sat there watching our speech, and he took notes. Everything in front of him there.
That is true now.
If it were any smoking gun, he will hit it. But right now, because I said this, he's gonna go in there and take some good thing and twist it. I know him. I know him well. He will go in there and try to twist it now. Let me tell you, if any smoking gun were there, Fagon would hit it straight out. But the only thing he can take, the speech is long, and now he's saying, the people now, they take pay, and the president should just step to where to sign it so they can take pay. So he okay with that. He just going around here trying to find something. So when you listen to that, you can tell that this speech, this speech was a hit. Good speech. Good speech. Everybody who listened to it, again, the CEO listened to it, he said it will resonate among the people. It's a good speech. You know him. You know the CEO. He will attack stuff. But he said it's a good speech and will resonate among the people. Listen to Yekeh. All Yekeh is saying, he go there for cabinet. Let me tell you something, my brother Yekeh. When you listen to Congress, you see the American ambassador are there. If you listen to Congress here, the State of the Union, that's what they do. That's what they do. And you know that, Dr. Richardson, the other side will get up, they will yell, they will say, hey, that's what they do in America here. So what I saw today, including your protest, Yekeh Kolubah, that's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty. To see you, Yekeh Kolubah, you can stand up and say anything you want to say in front of the president. Meaning, Dr. Richardson, Liberia, we are heading to the right direction. That's a beauty. You know what we used to do? We used to fire ourselves. But now, we can have an opposition go in the state of the nation and disagree publicly with the president, what international people are saying, and the president listen to him. That's a beauty. If anybody don't praise that, then you just want to make you just don't want to argue. On a judge manner, we are government. We have that freedom that we can speak. So let me don't go too much because of the time, Dr. Richie, you're saying. But if folks cannot criticize, cannot go into the speech and talk, and what my brother Fagon said, that means it's a good speech. But let me say this. Lastly, if I'm going to go now and look for something, you see what he doing? He's looking for something to turn it around. Yeah, don't be fooled by that. He trying to turn it around because he know I already called him out. He will try to turn it around right now. And I dare anybody to see what he will do next. Try to turn it around. But he ain't got anything to say. We're not hearing Dr. Richardson.
Kev, for the record, I want to say, considering that Stanton Witherspoon is not here today, I don't think anyone should be speaking for him. So for the record, I don't know if that's...
He authorized me. He authorized me to say it.
We don't have nothing written here from him.
No, but
so if he authorized you to say it, tell him to put it in text message. Let's put it up. Okay, I'm moving forward.
But that's a good one.
I don't want. I want, if anybody's going to speak for ourselves. We're not going to speak for other people. So thank you very much. Honorable Yekeh Kolubah, Mr. Hassan is saying that freedom of speech is alive and living in Liberia. That's why you had the opportunity there to call out the president during the speech and nothing happened to you. What would you say about that?
The president don't have any authority. He can't do nothing to me in there. We were in session. We were in session. He couldn't
do nothing to you in that country. You free man. You can say all you want to say. That's a beauty under the government. You're a free man, my man. Nothing. Nobody can do anything to you, correct? In Liberia. That's the Liberia we get now. No harassment, nothing. Good job.
So I can go ahead now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Look, the president never had any authority. Look, Dr. Richardson, 5 years people go in there with beret to be chanting battle cry. What are the men talking Sonny? They don't even understand. All they know, they make him pronounce the English. Whether he know the definition or not, they don't care. At one point in time, he started to stutter with his own voice. Now I walk out and say, I said, clap for the president, man. Because he started fighting on his own English to speak it. You understand? We will not have a president that will not deliver to the people. Since 5 years, it is today that you know that Silver not making the correct money. Since 5 years, the Falcon said, he has become an embarrassment. He's in that time himself. He shot himself in the legs for the president to admit. So that today, that was campaign messages. I don't want Silver to listen to that thing. That's not reality. We're passing around here with government officials, eating a lot of money, enjoying. That today we know that Silver not taking pay. They're taking less than $100. 5 years we run the country. 5 years. What can we show? The president did not say nothing over there for people to understand. They got some kind of drugs are coming in the country now. They call it Kus. Have people heard about Kus? The new drugs the children taking now, they call it Kus.
No.
Have people heard about it?
No. I hear about it yet.
In my mind, the president was under the influence of Kus. When you take that thing, you can stay 20 hours. And the new drugs are coming, bad than cocaine.
Wow.
Very, very.
You taking it too? You taking it too?
Yeah, I'm taking it. He and myself took it before we went to the program.
I see why you were standing up the whole speech. You
understand what I'm saying, Dr. Richardson?
I hear you.
The issue is let not be deceitful to our people. It is wrong. We agree. Look, I was told by Sedition said today, the only thing going on for today that to declare our intention. I say for today, say, yeah, I don't want to go with that, Richardson. But most often I sit in local opposition. Setting and open will take the floor and running campaign with a beret. And opposition not do that. Opposition have become a disgrace to the country. Especially our lawmakers. You understand? You saw it. Someone is trying to cool me down. Somebody running campaign, but not running campaign. That place is not for running campaign. That place is not for battle cry. And I told them for each other to do, I can wake up and move from Saturday. I said, what I want to do today is what I will do. And I did what I wanted to do to show to our president, Ambassador Weah, that the girl that can stand up to in your absent and in your face. The SS of that Richie. I said, I saw the SS guy, they were very jealous for me. And that's the wrong thing that I'm going to do. Because we are in session, if the speaker had a problem with me, he will tell the doorman on the side and say, please tell Honorable Kolubah one perfect decorum in here. Or please escort the Honorable outside. Any SS men are going to tell me today what was supposed to start in the country are going to start in there.
Wow. Wow. So Timberland George, according to Kev, he said the president made some substantial statements towards the improvement of healthcare, education, and the economy in the country. I did notice a part where he was talking about how the economy.
But Dr. Richardson, sorry, but Kev did not tell us what the improvements were. You trying to help me?
No. I have a question.
He copy of the speech.
I have a question.
No, go ahead.
Yes. And the question is, which is then to go to Timberland, is Timberland, when you listen to the speech, did you hear anything substantial about healthcare, education, the economy? I know tomorrow we'll talk about it because we have digested a written copy. I want to say one thing. One caveat I want to make. The president kept on saying that, oh, we inherited a broken economy. We inherited a zero in our coffers. And my thought about that is we are just kind of finding out about this broken economy that he inherited. He's been saying it. And why didn't he audit, which is something that you say on this platform all the time, Timberland? Why did you not audit the past government so we can know exactly what was the problem, where they were, and where we are right now? So go ahead, Timberland George. Tell us, Itchy, what did you hear?
Like I said earlier, the State of the Nation is one of the most important speeches a president will give every year. And he has the bullet pulpit. He had the attention of the Liberian people, the international community, our stakeholders, our partners, all watching at that moment. And every president, especially going for re-election, will take advantage of that moment and try to make a compelling and convincing case to why he should be given a second mandate. And I thought that he used it to his advantage today. He started to list the accomplishments, so forth. He talked about the rate being stable for 1 year, from 150 to 153 for a year. Talk about the legacy bank notes that was changed and the money coming to the country. Talk about the citizenship. I mean, he was tooting his the positive stuff that he felt he has done. And anybody would do it. President Sadi, she did it. Samuel Doe did it. Taylor did it. They will all do the same thing, try to use that occasion to make their case. And that's why the seditions were there in numbers, carried in the outside and so forth. But here's the point now. The opposition now. Now, I'm sure before I got on the show, I talked to an opposition person and they said they were already preparing their response for tomorrow. Okay? And what they're going to do, what they need to do now, take the speech apart and respond to it. Okay? Call it and felt the contradiction or whatever the case and wherever they felt that there was a need fact check, they come up with it. But I tell you the truth, Dr. Richardson, President Weah took advantage of the opportunity he had today, and he just went through it. At one point in time, you saw he put his speech aside. He started to talk like to the people directly. Try to talk, and it was all today about a campaign speech you're making. You're making that case that why is he re-elected? When he came to America, you saw what he did. He took a special time to say America is our ally. Anybody who go against America will be going against us. He making it clear, and he that was the job he had to do today, and he did what he had to do today to for somebody seeking re-election and to talk to his base. His base was there, okay. And Yekeh, Representative Kolubah said, he did something unprecedented. We have not seen happen before. Before the president could enter the hall, I think it was a motion, and Yekeh, can you tell what happened? Before, I know when the speaker called for the president to enter the hall to come deliver his speech, I think you an issue. Can you tell us, what happened at that moment?
You said they what?
Before, I think when the president, when Speaker Chambers called for the president to enter I think there was a motion on the floor or something, and you call a point of information or something.
I call the speaker. I call him up for information. The information I wanted to provide to the speaker was the host of parliament. The president come to us is by constitution to come and tell us we represent the Liberian people. Now everybody can go, all the people in my district cannot go in the capital building. I was elected to go and represent the people of district number 10 to tell us what have you done for the Liberian people so we can listen, because member of the diplomatic corps will be there, our international partners, the ministers, they will give their pass to go in there. But instead, they carry the partisan hostess with beret. See, the money, I knew that what the people wanted to do. I knew that what they wanted to do. And that's why I called the speaker to order today and told him, Mr. Speaker, this place is not for cheering squad. And he didn't listen to me. He took it for a joke. By the time the post started, wow, waiting for somebody to say, President, we are trying to re-election. Then campaign start. As soon as they did that, I started running campaign for opposition. Because we were in our campaign mood. Everybody in the campaign mood. And the speaker refused to recognize me.
Yeah, I noticed that happened. When that was happening, I saw the American ambassador. I think they was apparently laughing, and the other diplomats that were there, I saw them like, I'm sure they were talking about what was happening, but it was a stare. And since I've been listening to State of Nation, the first time I will see that happen, since I'm at the whole time, I've been watching. First time seeing it, it was a stare though. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, Regency, the president he used the occasion today to come and just toot his accomplishments and talk and make his case for re-election, and that's what happened today. But now there's the issue now. As I said, the opposition now, they have the choice. They have the onus upon them to respond to the president's speech and spell out the contradictions and which one is a fact and so forth. So we want to see the UP, we want to see the Liberty Party and the ANC, CPP, as they call themselves, want to see them come up with a rebuttal, respond to the president's speech. So we were looking up tomorrow also to see how they respond.
Yes. Just to announce, Mr. Alexander B. Cummins will be giving his rebuttal Tuesday, January 31st, which is tomorrow at 12 p.m. I just wanted to announce that, considering what you're saying. So want to go down to Mr. Fagon. I think you have some specific rebuttal to the speech, because you were telling me that Kev said that the president spoke about healthcare, education, economy. So I don't know, in your response, can you respond to some of those things? You don't have to, because we still have to digest the speech, but what are your points that you jotted down?
I don't have to respond to Kevin. I'm not going to do it. If your government give a speech and hours after the speech, you cannot even see it on the executive mansion website, it means they have to use front-end loader to just load something you can just copy or cut and paste. He himself said that they don't have the first sentence, which is some of the things we can talk about. Because during our time, these are some of the things we had to fight to do. Before the special.
So how you know I get a speech? How you know I get a speech?
Yourself said it. So if they now send it to you, that's why I'm saying you showing me your phone now. If you had a
speech, you didn't ask me. You just I get it.
Liberian people right here listening, you will start picking inside and say you can read, but you never had it, and it's still not on your executive mansion website. So if the people, the government information arm don't have it and you have it, you have just disgraced them again. That you are the de facto information minister.
You can say anything. You can say anything you want to say, man.
But it's not fair to them now. Before I talk, let's be honest.
They
want someone to talk for the government. They are being paid to talk for the government. You keep them in the dark. Then they give it to you. Then you stay right here. Then tomorrow now, they gotta go try to clean up mess.
They told you they didn't get it.
Oh, they gotta tell me. I can see it on the website for myself. That Benesi Papi for my mouth or my ear get wax. My eye get cut out. I can see, I can hear, I can talk. So okay, let me go to the question. I'm not answering Kev because Kev have not said anything that I
That's
can debate.
okay. I was asking you to go to
No,
someone.
it's not bad thing. He said nothing, so I can't debate anything. When he
Okay.
says something, I will debate it. But up to now, he said nothing yet. He just said the education and how you call that one, healthcare, how you call that one, the economic fundamentalism.
Stop pronouncing that word. I was driving while I almost jumping on a pothole when I heard that word.
So imagine this. The president said, imagine my achievement. If COVID had not happened, what would have happened? That was his question. But one thing he said, government stop borrowing from the central bank. When you make that kind of statement that his government have stopped borrowing, it means they were borrowing. No wonder why the debt to their portfolio is at 1.9 billion. 1.9 billion.
That is an increase from Ellen.
So that's why I'm saying, what do we have to show for it? You are touting all these things. You must match expenditure with revenue or income at any stage. So yes, if you raise the debt, tell us what you did with the money. Then he goes on to say, look, listen, as a matter of fact, the one that was so alarming for everybody were all these figures he was giving in terms of how many millions of dollars they raised the revenue by this much to 740 million, which is up from last year, 721 million. And this was done through taxes. Who are you taxing? Who are you taxing? The people whose money you cut illegally as emitted by you? You emitted today. And that clip will play over and over. You cut my money, you raise taxes on me, and then you turn around, you raise prices on me. What did I do to deserve that? So again, if Kev comes up with specifics, he said inflation is down from 30% to single digit 7%. Okay, we'll give you that. Since it's down, the rate you touted today, that for the last 2 years, the rate has been around 150, 153. Go to a junction there even. The same people that achieve money, go to a junction 163. That's the rate. So again, when you're saying these things, Twain writes all these things. He comes up. If inflation is down from 30% to 7%, what is inflation? Few money chasing plenty goods, and it's down, but the people cannot see the money. Inflation is down. You talk about unemployment. Today he spoke about employment. For 5 years, what is our unemployment rate now? Our unemployment rate has gone from bad to worse. No jobs, no investments, and so forth and so on. Then we come back down to the very people you're talking about, the government employees. You said a lot about them. So what is economic fundamentalism? They said that the economy is strong, but no money, no food. That the economy is strong, but goods and services completely awkward. What is economic fundamentalism? We know about Reaganomics, but today we heard about economic fundamentalism, which in my opinion, as I close, suggests that economic fundamentalism means we cut your pay into half. We increase taxes on you. Then we turn around and carry a bag of rice from $15 to $25. Gasoline from $3.50 to $5.20. They rose from 30 cents on each gallon to 50 cents on each gallon. Economic fundamentalism means that all of our projects will be halfway. And we say if COVID had not happened, then we would have done better. Economic fundamentalism means that we can borrow our way, but not be able to account. We spend 11 million for rice that we don't see. And then we turn around, he talk about the social development fund. You heard that today?
Richard, you're enjoying it, right? So he can get all the time he wants
The
to get.
social development fund he talk about means that in economic fundamentalism, social development funds means take the NIMA post 7.5 million, use it without accountability.
Okay.
Take the Bombay County people
I'm
5
so
million,
sorry.
use it without accountability. And then when it comes to audit for the last 5 years, your government have not been audited. And if they have been audited, the legislature have got no clue as to what those audits are or where they are. And today you told them that 2021 audit will be given to them 30 days from now. That's blah.
That's blah. That is blah. We're gonna come back to you, Honorable Kev, and then also we'll go back to Honorable Yekeh Kolubah to respond. But I want to, we're getting the speech and the written form of the speech. Again, I think this is a discussion considering how long the speech was for us to have. But I want to just also emphasize something that Fagon said, and Kev, you can respond to that. And Liberian, but I want Liberian people to hear this: that our budget is now into $1 billion. Is that that's what I heard you say, right, Mr. Fagon? That was an increase from Ellen's government.
No, I said
he borrowed. He actually borrowed.
Our budget is increased to 740 million.
Yes, but
that
he borrowed.
He borrowed. Yeah,
he borrowed $1 billion.
Portfolio now is 1.9 billion.
Yes, that's what he borrowed. He borrowed about $1 billion compared to what Ellen borrowed in the past. That's kind of what I want Liberian people to think about. Because when I think about this, I think about if we're going to borrow large amount of money, we should have something to show for it. Even that's common understanding of budgeting. So in your response, and then also something I saw, something that I have mentioned here before, something that gets to me, and it relates to when I talk about the PSIP, the public sector investment project program that the president usually talks about. And in that PSIP, which is kind of new to our budget, this was never in the budget before. It gives the president discretion over more than $150 million that he can use. And in his speech, he said that the House of Representatives approved $10 million US for a project under the county tour that he undertook. To me, I want to know, maybe the people that can let us know, what were these projects and how did they impact the people's life? $10 million is the money to me. That's serious development money. So that's what I'm thinking about, bits and pieces of the speech I was driving listening to it, and that's what's coming to my mind now. So Kev Hassan, you want to talk about what we have said and come up. Kev, I'm sorry, one more thing I want to add. Kev, in your response to you talk about a hospital being built in Bobolu, there was some of your specific. You talk about Riverside, a hospital being built in Riverside, and of course the newest hospital, Emirates Hospital, that was produced by UAE, the country. And so those are the things that you're saying that are progress in the country, right? And so even though some people are arguing that a building, a hospital is just not enough, they're arguing for more. So speak to us, Kev.
Well, Dr. Richardson, maybe if Fagon will make that clear, you should ask him that he said the government borrowed $1 billion from where? Because
I said the depth of the country.
Okay.
Well, why you can be here when we be talking? You just let them be listening to Twitter.
Can I,
And when you have debt, that means you borrowed the money from somewhere, right?
No, you said this government, right? This government borrowed $1 billion.
This government increased the debt portfolio to 1.9 billion.
So you're talking about increase, talk about $1 billion. The thing is, sending message out there to the people, wrong information, it's kind of dangerous. But Liberian people smart enough; they know that that's not true. Well, from this government. But Dr. Richardson asked me a question about healthcare. You see, one of the important thing you have to look in building a hospital in a certain location, because proximity to hospital very, very important in the life, in saving lives. Very, very important, because certain things is by time. For example, if somebody having had attack, you cannot leave Buffalo and come to JFK. It's too far. It's way too far. That person will not make it. So when we talk about improving healthcare, we're talking about the people in Buffalo now don't need JFK. That's what we're talking about, healthcare. When we talk about the oxygen tank factory in Bomi, that the people in Bomi don't need to come to Monrovia. That's improvements in healthcare. People from Riverside don't need Monrovia, because proximity in saving lives very, very important. Here, sometimes somebody make accident. The reason you can see helicopter come straight on the road and take that person, because it's the severity of the accident, and they have to go to the hospital immediately. And sometimes the nearby hospital set don't have that kind of equipment in there, so they have to fly to different hospitals. So when you see the person building a hospital, we'll talk about the Redemption Hospital that under construction. You talk about 150 pediatric units. That means that if you go have your child, you have bed. That's improvement. Then you sit down there, no bed, and maybe that woman have the baby right there. Because JFK, a lot of people say, why can't you improve JFK? JFK cannot take the whole country. So what the president did, he tried to go into the region, the southeast, the western region, and put hospitals there. So that if you're in that area, you don't have to come to Monrovia. That's improvement. You added 250 healthcare workers. You pay them, 19 doctors. You send them out to specialize in different areas. That's improvement in our healthcare. They were not there. You see, let me make it simple. If you come as a president or a government come, and you have one hospital and you make it to 3, 4, you are improving healthcare. If you add nurses, you are improving healthcare. So when you look at the Riverside, the Buffalo, the state-of-the-art nursing facility, then that is an addition. So from some of us practice, we can safely say to you that's an improvement. Dialysis center, that's an improvement in the healthcare. It was not there. And I can tell you this, Dr. Richard, Dr. Peabody, Tomlin, we all here, we had a good show on that. We had a lady who was all the way in Kenya to do dialysis. She felt homesick. She needed help. We host her on Spoon. The only place we have to bring her were nearby in Sierra Leone, because Liberia. So based on this thing, the president otherwise that no, our people cannot go Kenya, Sierra Leone, all the place just for dialysis. We will do it right in Liberia. That's an improvement on healthcare. we come to the economy. And I can tell you, Dr. Richardson, the only person here who made that case were in there about the improvement of the economy is, if I go on, the tapes are out there. He was correct then, and he's wrong now. He playing politics now. He playing games now. I know him. He playing games now. He was there. He know how this, because he was day one minister. Day one minister. He entered. This man entered into an information ministry. Nothing was there. I know that. And he know I know that. And he know why I say I know that. Nothing was there.
You don't got nothing to talk about his speech. We won't talk about his speech, my man. Leave for going to talk about his speech.
You understand that? No, it's part of the speech. What the president said, what he meant. That's part of the speech. So what we're doing now, we're going into what the president meant and what the president was talking about. So what the president told this country. So Dr. Richardson, when the president said he met a broke country, that's why nothing was there. Some officers, Dr. Richardson, there was no even 10 over notes to say this is what. Nothing was there. So day one, this president met is zero. Imagine 514 million Liberian dollar. And Liberian dollar. Dr. Richardson, let me end with this. 514 million Liberian dollar with 7 million US dollar. When you do the exchange, everything is under 15 million US dollar. And guess what? To run a country, to pay everybody, you're talking about for months. You're talking about almost 30 million to 35 million just to run a government for a month. Dr. Richardson, if you in a government,
wrap it up so we can
if this government met less than 15 million, it's a broke. The government walking to a broke government. That's a fact. It's there.
What, Kev? I want to answer this. I have a rhetorical question.
It's there. So the records are there. So what we are saying is,
to Honorable Yekeh, you know he's here.
What we are saying is, where the president made this country to now, we can safely say the country is stable.
Kev, it would have been so nice if the president would have answered why did he not audit or show us evidence to where he met
Dr. Richardson.
That's going to be the argument. That's for Honorable Yekeh. Honorable Yekeh, please speak, please.
The country is stable from where we met the country. The country is stable under the leadership of this person, and that's what he explained today. So we want to go.
Honorable Yekeh, Kolubah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the CDC spokesman to finish. Then I will speak.
Go ahead, Honorable Yekeh.
Okay, look, that's a lazy argument. The people always say, oh, Manasari did not leave nothing. Manasari said she left money. So to prove Manasari wrong, why you can't
you're a lawmaker.
Kev, please give Honorable Yekeh time to speak. Just write down your lawmaker. Please write down.
Let it honorable talk.
I beg you, let respect our guests now. Let write down your thing.
That you're a lawmaker. Don't say anything. Tell us how much were there. You should know. You're a lawmaker.
Honorable Kolubah, please speak. You are protected.
Everybody,
like I'm saying, Kev them do not have nothing to say. But I don't blame them. I blame the opposition who don't want to come together. That's what you see them, they jumping up and down, jumping their way and jumping their way. I can tell you for sure that you often lose Prince Johnson and his supporters because you're lie to the people. Ambassador Weah will only pay them now. By the time he get there, Ambassador Weah is a strong dictator. Anything he tell you today, you must see daylight before you tell him money. Let me tell you the truth today. And the people have understood everything about him. They don't trust him. You and somebody going to back him. You croak the person. Is this the kind of thing he want to do? Oh, we made the country empty. We made Madam Sadi says you created Madam Sadi 85 or 90%. Then you say you made the country empty.
That was for peace. Peace. That for peace. Correct it. That for peace.
Is Ambassador we are peaceful person?
He was peaceful.
Is Ambassador we are Ambassador we are peaceful person? If you are peaceful person, tell them here Akara Great speaking. If you are that thing, Ambassador we are did today, he did it on a pretend. Ambassador we don't even want to see Tomo Fala. Let me tell you the truth today. He don't want to see Akara's Great. Let me tell you the truth today. But because Akara,
that's not true.
I can go ahead now.
Yes, please go ahead. You are protected. Kev,
because Akara Gray is the chair or executive, and he needs to bring him inside. You know how long it took? He said he don't want for Akara Gray to escort him. You know how long it took? I was in the speaker office at Holy Conversation. They must find a different person to escort him. That how bad Ambassador Weah is. Ambassador Weah cannot forgive. That one can never.
Okay, Kev, come on now, beg you, man. Yeah. If I had whoever had control, will put you in the back, or you put yourself in the back because you don't want got control. Honorable Yekeh, please go ahead.
So, like I'm saying, I was in the speaker office today. You know how long it took for the speaker to say we can't do nothing? Akara will have to come and escort him because he's the chair or executive. The president do not want to see Akara's way. He don't want to see Thomas Fala. That how bad that president. He don't forgive. The president now peaceful person. He there telling the Liberian people, seven, they are being honor pay. When you got to know seven honor pay? When? Like that today you got to know? Because campaign coming, we in campaign now, you want the people support? And Lord, he can carry the 7 salary up to 500 US per person. The people will not vote for him. Even SS people behind him will not vote for him. I mean, he has failed the people. We have also failed the people because we shouldn't be allocating money in the budget. We put money in the budget for the president to travel in counties. What does he do with that money? We put $4 million in the budget for him to build a sport park. He was supposed to build a hospital all the way to the end of the FE to come. He would not build less than 11 homes. Where are we going? We can never call the president to give account anything. If the Liberia depending on your law, anything Ambassador we are bring, we will pass it because we have failed you people. The only thing we therefore is to satisfy ourselves, our personal interest. When I say that, the person they don't like the way I talk. Our rules are very clear. It's very clear. This president is coming before us. He's not to bring cheering squad. I asked the speaker today, Mr. Speaker, and you know cheering squad not supposed to be in the house? In our chamber, he said, yeah, cheering squad not supposed to be there. I said, Guaglo, you the chair all rules and all that. You know cheering squad not supposed to be in our place there, right? Before we came to session, and now when we came to session, I raised it. And they took it for joke. They took it for joke. If I were going to get 4% to join me, we're going to boo our president.
Thank you, Honorable Kolubah. We'll go to St. Tolling George.
Yeah. Okay. That reason I'm speaking, right?
Yes.
Well, okay. There's certain part of the president's speech that again, you know, like I said earlier, the opposition will do their job. They have to do their own critique and so forth. But the president, the issues that have been trending, like issues about, for instance, the issue about ledges, the census. The president, I mean, that was one of the places that I think we want to criticize about. It wasn't forthcoming. But when he said that they are making progress and they are using digital stuff, to the vice president was in charge of it. But I would have thought the president would have included, by now they would have included the outcome of the census in the speech. But then he said they are work in progress and so forth. That one of the areas that I think that needed more explanation. Issue about the Roberts Street Highway, and all the Senate and the House and the Senate, they are presently questioning the contractors and so for that highway. But when he spoke about it today, he said that they are making progress and the road is making progress and so forth. But I mean, a lot of criticism of the road. I thought we'd have heard more substantive information about what's going on, what the government is saying about the road. But President just went over it too. The issue about the arms that came in the country. I think he mentioned it, but then he didn't go into detail of it. The outcome, and just to give the Liberian people the outcome or the status of that issue right now, which is very concerning. The issue about corruption. The president came strong. He said that they are putting in place, they put mechanisms in place to fight corruption. He talked about strengthening the internal auditing agency, the IAA, and that they are giving them more resources in the budget to fight corruption and to stop corruption before it happens, before it occurs. And he also talked about LCC, that they amended the LCC Act to empower LCC to get them prosecutorial powers to fight corruption and so forth. But then the question would have been to, again, like I said, how much corruption cases, President, if he has said to date, my government has prosecuted X, Y cases that were on LCC on the table. Don't forget, LCC indicted, they have corruption issue with the agriculture minister and other minister of government. The president has said, look, my government to date, we are fighting corruption, and we are prosecuting right now X, Y, Z minister and so forth. I was compelled to dismiss minister this, minister that for being on issue of corruption. I mean, he would have come stronger. I thought we would have heard that the president is really fighting corruption, but he defended that. All he said today that they are putting more money into institutions that are fighting corruption, which I thought he would have come up strong to say that, give an example to say, look, we are fighting corruption and this is what we have done. But that again, he didn't come forth with. Issue about the murders in the country, people have been dying. The president would have given update on the murder cases in the country, except the ones that have been happening, and the recent murders in some counties and so forth. Like, giving some issues about it, what are the murders were, what are the update of this case, where we are with the case and so forth, but it wasn't forthcoming. And I thought he would have make that case. That, but issue about these are issues that are being criticized about, corruption, so forth, about the issue about mysterious death and so forth. If he had come with concrete and more substantive information on where we are, including investigation, I'm sure he would have scored some points for it. But again, like I said, it's all president was speaking to his base, and he was really on his campaign mode, and making his case for his re-election. But what I just said, that's where the opposition need to come forward tomorrow and so forth, and try to distinguish what the president said from the reality of about what's going on in the country. But if not, if the response are very poor, and the president will run with what he said today in the counties on his tour, and he talked about projects he undertaken and so forth. But the opposition, as I said, they need to come up to respond. If they don't respond appropriately, the president will have score a point on it. So right now, wait to see what happening, and we'll keep on watching. But let's see what happens tomorrow when opposition can.
Okay, Tomalin, thank you very much, Dr. Peabody. And then we'll go to Honorable Fargon.
You Tomalin gives some very strong point. One of the things that I was wrote down today, because as I said, the speech was a little bit long, and I was struggling to understand. But one of the things that I saw him talk about, the president talk about, was spending almost $12.8 million on county tour and project implementation. And he talked about how they had to spend millions of dollars, almost $17 million, if I'm right, to buy COVID vaccine and all of that. And I began to wonder what happened to how much were raised from the COVID funds when people were coming in and paying money back and forth. I came in a couple of times. I was paying $150 to come and go, $75 to come in, $75 to go back. And that was a pretty large amount of money that was being collected. And some of those vaccines, were they not free? I wrote down some vaccine, were those vaccines not free? Even if we spend it, how much did you raise? How much did you spend on vaccine and all of that for the Liberian people? That was not even disclosed. You say you spent $12.8 million for content tour. That's quite a lot of money because 2 day share or 3 day share. I mean, I saw the light poles. I mean, the street lights and things. That was great. But what is the breakdown on all those things? How much you spend? Because you can say going to Nimma for a day or two, or going to other counties. How many counties that came up that they came into $12.8 million or more? How many projects? What were the cost of each of those projects? So I had reservation on some thing that President talked about. The President was not just, it was just like a whole vague statement we made on what we did, what we improved, but we did not see the breakdown for 5 years. One of the things I commend him for, I commend the president for, he had right, was the dual citizenship. I commend him on that they were able to pass it. So I mean, I'm gonna give him credit. He talked about stabilizing the exchange rate, which I say I must give them credit because it came to a point that we had that problem with the exchange rate. It was really a difficult problem that time. In fact, there were times you couldn't even find the money on the market and all of that. I remember that those days, and it was difficult. And cemetery and others, the way it was to really regulate that. Let me give them some praises here because it was a mess. Everybody thought the country was, turning into, you couldn't find the dollar, you can't find this, the money was short, things were happening, and all of that. And the value, the Liberian dollar depreciated a lot and all of that, but they were able to bring it to something. So, in between, you got to give them some praises there. But overall, I think it was just a vague speech, not really, In fact, the president got confused sometimes when he got to certain thing and said it happened, and he had to take a break or drink some water and said, oh, really, we did this and stuff like that. So, but all in all, I think the opposition have something that they could actually run on and say, because I think it was just difficult. It was a difficult 5 years for the government. Corruption continued to score high in our government, and then the issue with the army nation and things like that. Well, police came out and updated the country one time, and they have not said nothing else again. I think there should be like a regular weekly investigation going on to let the people know what's happening, and they have not. But so far it was what I was able to generate within that time. I didn't continue the whole speech because I felt it was too long. I felt the presentation was a little difficult and all of that. So that's mine.
Sure. So I want to kind of piggyback on what you said, Peabody, and what others have said. First, yes, I think we want to congratulate part of the president's speech, the one relating to dual citizenship. He signed that law into bill. That bill into law. So I think it is a good thing. He recognized the remittances from people in the diaspora and how it contributes to the economy. And so I think that was a good thing. But which is some of my critique of this government is that let's push this a little bit further. That when you pass dual citizenship, it requires that the citizens in the diaspora participation in democracy. So what are you doing about it? So let's further the passing of the law to say, okay, I have contacted the embassies around the world. I've spoken to airlines about how visa for external citizens, like people in the diaspora, that they will not be required because you are a citizen. So let's talk about the mechanism that you have in place to address those issues. Again, passing the law is just not enough, but a government with vision and a long-term processing government, a government that is not just giving us enticement, will then be able to further the dual citizenship to allow external citizens to go to their local consulate office or to do absentee ballot like other modern countries do. So that's one thing that I said. Yes, it's good that he did dual citizenship, but then what's next? My second thing again relates to yes, he did allow freedom of the press. There was this, the people I often say that's a plus for him. But again, to me, freedom is related to security. Freedom is related to electricity. Okay, I can come all day long and talk about my views. Am I safe going home? Do we have our security mechanism in place to fight crime for people who want to attack those that have opposing views or similar views? We saw the situation with Louis Brown, how that situation just stirred up in a matter of minutes, in matter of time. So do we have security process in place that will enforce the law to deter people from just having this jungle law abidement type situation? When I was in Liberia, we woke up 3 o'clock in the morning to someone had stolen something. The whole community was roll, beating the guy, almost killing him. And it was like mob justice. So we went out. I was scared. Actually, I didn't go out, and I kind of hauled back my team. I was like, gosh, you guys not scared to be looking at that kind of thing there? But again, there's a mechanism, a format that is supposed to be in place to say, okay, if somebody commits a crime, we call X number and let the police come out. So to me, freedom of speech, freedom of press, they all are related to electricity, how safe someone feels in the night. Mauritius shuts down at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Okay. Majority of people are afraid to walk in the street. People are saying it's too dark for me to travel. And then, of course, we need to put our security system in place, enforce the law that you already have on the books. So I also want to correct myself. I said that the debt was increased by this president. Okay. Remember, Ellen reduced the debt. A lot of countries around the world, when she first took power, they reduced our debt. When President Weah came into power, his first term, he has increased the debt. It's how much we are borrowing from other people now. Okay, just to be clear on that, how much we are borrowing. President Weah has increased that debt in his first term to $216 million, bringing our total debt to $1 billion. So just so that we're clear on this, if he continues, if he goes another term and he has to borrow $216 million, he would have exceeded. That means he would have passed how much money Ellen borrowed from the international community. Okay. And the question people are asking, I actually want to give Ava Tobai credit for this. When he used the central bank analysis and was able to post what the central bank said about the debt. If President Weah borrowed $216 million again, he would have surpassed how much Ellen borrowed for her entire 2 terms.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
So you're saying the debt right now is 1 billion, right?
A plus over, yeah, plus 1 billion plus.
So how much will you say Ellen borrowed if the president borrowed 200?
They said during her 2 terms, I think it was $335 million. Let me, and then I have James. James, are you listening? Could you please put that up? I put that in the chat room as well.
How come is if this president, if she said 300 and something, right?
216 times 216 kept that how much?
No, wait.
That's $432 million. That is surpassing $335 million. Just if he does the same, if he borrowed the same amount,
you say it's 1 billion, right?
Yes, that's how much was borrowed. Yeah.
So if the president, if president in
that's how much our debt is right now. This is how much our debt is.
So if the minus the 200 and something million, how much remain? Do the math. How much remain?
No, you talking. You do the math. I can do the math. What if he borrowed $260 million?
You said it's 1 billion, right? You say 1 billion. In that 1 billion. In that 1 billion. In that 1 billion. This government.
Hold on, Jeff. Let James. Could you please put this? Could you please put the graph up, please? The graph from the central bank. If you're listening to me, because Kev wants specific. Kev is in the chat room. Please look at it, and then you can ask me.
I'm going with your math right now. I'm going with your math right now. No, I'm going with your math. Take that thing from there. I'm going with your math right now. You say within that 1 billion, the president only responsible for 200 and something million, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I'm not saying that he's only responsible. I'm saying that that's how much he's
Yeah,
borrowed.
yeah, just a moment. Yeah. So how much remain? How much remain in that 1 billion if you take out the 200 and something million?
Yes. The question here is,
Man,
Madam.
how much Ellen responsible for? Because
Okay, so
if you say Ellen that 300 and something million plus the president 200.
So in her first term, Ellen reduced the debt.
You're talking about billion here. So if this president responsible for 200 and change million in that billion, so who borrowed the rest?
Let me clarify to you. In Ellen's first term, according to the post from Central Bank, the debt was reduced from 4.5 billion to 519 million. The debt was reduced. Okay. So remember now, there was a lot of people are celebrating because the international community reduced our debt. In her second term, my Ellen increased the debt by 355 million. Okay. George Weah borrowed $216 million in his first term. If, as I said, he borrows another $260 million, he will be borrowing roughly $432 million. The question is, what do we have to show for the $216 million that he's borrowing? That is the question.
Dr. Richardson, I'm not a professor. You're the professor, right?
But man, we have our time on the show. If you want to take over the show, then let me. I got an important thing.
No,
stop. Talk. Then you want to interview the moderator.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's move on. I already said
you have your time.
No, Fagon.
No, but we listened to you, Jana, for over 3 minutes.
Fagon, relax. I know what you do. Relax.
I have very important things to do.
And I know what you're doing, Yekeh. You want us to distract this conversation because you're trying to ask
1 billion. Let me tell you.
I need to analyze their speech.
No, wait now.
I got work to do.
Let me tell you. Pharmacology was one of my weakest points because you got to do with math. But you're the professor. Let me ask you.
And I'm not going to answer you. I told you from Central Bank. I already told you. I read to you that George Weah increased.
You said 1 billion. You said 1 billion.
Yeah, so 1 billion.
Let our people talk, man. Yekeh hasn't talked. Let him talk.
In 4 years, he borrowed an annual average of $216 million in 4 years. In 4 years, 216. Okay, that's what he borrowed. And so people are asking,
216. Who responsible for the rest?
You do your math and figure it out. Honorable Fagon, please.
You see, that's why we don't make statements without fact checking. So you see. Fagon,
I checked my fact, and my concern is not who borrowed previously. It's what do we have to show for $216 million? Couple of the fact that if he is elected, he is likely to borrow 216 or more. What do we have to show for that? That is my question, and I have all rights to ask that question, just like you have all rights to ask what.
800 and something million remain. Who responsible for that?
Kev, I have all rights to ask my question. $216 million, President, we are borrowed. Carrying our debt to $1 billion for unborn Liberian people to pay for. What do we have to show for $216 million? Right now, in one term, he will surpass what Ellen borrowed in 2 terms. If we continue with this trend, that is my point I'm trying to make. Mr. Fagon, please go ahead.
Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, the Liberian people will see me at my best. The best of me will be tomorrow at 11 o'clock. When I take this speech and give them facts versus fiction. 24-page document you're looking at right here. I'm only going to just touch on 4 and 5, page 4 and 5. Just take two things, one for E4 and one for E5, and just give you the fact versus the fiction. Over here on page 4, to be exact, the president said the total revenue received under the period under review amounted to 445 million United States dollars. This is 35 million less than revenue collected from January to December in 2018. Now, when did we take over? We took over in 2018. If we were able to see 2018 produce 4 to 50, that's 80. 2018, when we took over, the economy was good. Hey, who said, let me talk to. Okay? Now he comes out and said it was less than 35 million less than what he collected in 2018. What does that tell you? That tells you that there was a sharp economic decline where revenue was not pouring. When did COVID start?